Widows, widows, boys and ghouls, how are we all doing? This is a bit of a weird one because it's based on Ghost Club Paranormal. I made a video on Ghost Club Paranormal a few months ago. They did a live stream to sort of call out me, my comment section. I attended the live stream and I'll be honest, they came across very well. They were very open with me, they were very cool with me, they put their points across, I put my points across, and it was never down to like outright fakery. It was, I don't believe in psychic mediums, and then it was like, it's disrespectful to call me fake because of my woo-woo, and I'm paraphrasing and I'm chopping it all down. But there's a huge difference between me not believing in something and then somebody outright, flat out faking something. And that's where I am with Ghost Club Paranormal right now. It strikes me as bizarre that me and the side-eye guy covered them in quite quick succession, but that quite quick succession was not on purpose, and it was very different videos from them. And I believe we were as respectful as we can be with teams, that we were like, yeah, there's something up with this, but we're not saying it's fake. But, you know, logic and all the rest of it. And our interactions with these guys seemed pleasant, you know? They had their opinions, we had ours, there was a bit of respect shown, all good. But my problem is, once that respect has been shown, not just the Ghost Club, but the team that they're working with here, because they're working with Haunted Knights, and I covered them. I don't know if Haunted Knights are aware of what's gone on in this video, because this is done in post-production, in editing. Now, whichever member of Ghost Club Paranormal edited this video, if you've got the raw footage, maybe you can fire back with something, but I know what I'm looking at. And be careful, because other people have said, I'll send you the raw footage, and then when they've sent me footage, it's not raw footage at all. What they've sent me is edited footage and think that they can clown me, not realising I know editing software, I know editing footage, and if I don't, I know plenty of people that do, and I'll ask their opinions. Now, a few of us have spotted this, and a few of us have discussed this, and it's like, yeah, it's 100% bullshit. And it's disappointing, considering the respect we showed Ghost Club Paranormal and the guys we're working with. When you show respect to someone, you expect not to have your intelligence insulted by such blatant staging or blatant fakery. And that's what I'm looking at here, is blatant fakery. You see, if you're going to edit in a shadow figure in your video, you've got to be good at it. And you're cocked up. There are two telltale signs that I saw on my phone. My phone sideways, screen, you know, this screen isn't that big, and I could see it. I haven't looked on the monitor yet, but we're about to. So they used this little Ovilus style device, and I've had a few emails about this little Ovilus style device that everyone's using, and it looks like there is a certain brand of this device that you can program words into. You can add a small SD memory card into it and add to it. I was going to buy one just to show how it works. Then I seen the price on it. Stop buying shit from these ghost companies, because it is overpriced garbage. They're in Madison Seminary. I'm not going to play the whole video. I just want to cover this portion of the video, because this is the bit that's important to me. As nice as these guys come across, they've been trying to pull the wool over my eyes, their audience's eyes, and kind of pissed off with it, you know? When I've shown you respect, and then a couple of months later, you get as brave and as stupid to pull this off. It's disrespectful to the people that have shown you a bit of respect in with the lessons we were trying to teach you, for want of a better term. So, they capture a shadow figure. Now, the first thing I want to draw your attention to is this camera cut from this app straight into something that's already in movement. Why don't you show beginning to end on this other camera? And that's where you should start with your, there's something fishy here. But we'll play it through, and then I'm going to break this down.
Right after we heard Mel voice.
There it was. There was your shadow figure. Did you see it? Probably. Because it's kind of obvious. Yeah. Now they slow-mo it. That is apparently the shadow of the crawler. So I'm going to mute this, play it at a quarter speed. Now I spotted this on the phone in real time. So when you put it down this slow, now that cut there, that is ridiculous. You've got a shadow figure in your video, and you don't show it beginning to end. Because this camera is already rolling and already facing this direction. Why have you cut when it's already in full view. Now, there are grooves in the floor of the floorboards. Now, these floorboards, for an object that's semi-transparent, shouldn't be disappearing, but they do. So we go 1 frame. Why has that there disappeared and appeared? Why is this floorboard changing definition? Now, this here, this break here, I don't think that's a floorboard. I think that this break here is something... I think that this break here is something that's bled through from this masked-in shadow thing. Because it's not on the floor. It's not part of the floor. Okay, so this dot disappears. That makes no sense. This floorboard changes. This floorboard changes. This floorboard, in this part of this shadow figure, shouldn't be changing because this... There's nothing there. This is transparent. So why does the floorboard gain in length? It's because this is overlaid and the overlay has stretched too far. All of this area is masked in, and that's why you're getting this really bizarre effect. And that's why you're getting this bizarre effect of the floorboard changing in length. This one as well. Look at it. This here I don't think is part of the floor. I think that is something bleeding through from this. So say I was to pull in a green screen with a shadow figure on it, remove the green screen, and it misses something, which is what this looks like. So that there disappears. This floorboard changes in length. This floorboard changes in length. This floorboard changes in length. Whatever they have masked in there, they've masked the area too big. And then the floorboard comes back into shot. This area is changing again. Now see, this area, this black dot, isn't actually on the floor. So we'll take it back. This area of the floor is not an area of the floor. This little black dot, that is part of this mask and it's too dark. Disappears, reappears randomly. It's in the middle of a floorboard, but then it tracks and moves up with the overlaid ghost, because that's what it is, and then it fades out. This ghost is moving while the camera is almost stationary, but look, once the camera starts spinning away, this object is stationary. It moves across here while the camera is almost steady, meaning you can track it, and if that is a tracking mark that's not been deleted, I'm not sure if it is, but look, the tracking mark disappears, this thing stops, it doesn't move, and when they move the camera, it's almost like it's tracked to the door frame as opposed to that dot. You faked that. You've added that in, and you've added that in, and you've accidentally changed the solid surround of the building, because this, you haven't just masked in this because of the blur effect around it. You've masked in an area bigger than this black object. And in with masking in that area, you've inadvertently destroyed the floor. This area, under the shadow figure, is transparent, clear. In other words, there should be nothing there. So why is it blocking out this floor? Why does this bit of floor disappear, then reappear, and why do these floorboards grow in length while this thing that's not anywhere near this is touching? That's because the blur effect has stretched too far and it's taking out your floor. That's not artifacting. That, I don't know if that's a marker or if that was something that was in the background of this video that you've removed the background of to overlay that has bled through. But the telltale is as soon as the camera starts moving too fast, this thing gets left behind, doesn't move, it's pinned to this area. Why would you do that? Because it is really hard to track and mask something when your camera is swinging. Off a stationary camera, it's very easy. When you've got a camera that's moving and you try to track something, it'll stutter, it'll cause issues. It takes hours and hours to rotoscope it frame by frame, or however you've overlaid this in. I could overlay a ghost in right now, shooting past me, and I could leave the mistakes in. This is a joke. You've got blemishes all over the floor, and once your camera starts moving too quick, you can't track it, so you just pin it to the door frame. I know exactly how this was done. You've made 3 massive mistakes. You've overextended the blur of your ghost, so that's why the floorboards are flipping in and out of view. Potentially a tracking dot left on the floor, or a tracking mark left on the floor that's in frame at first, then it disappears for a few frames, and then it's back. And then that camera movement at the end. That camera swing at the end when that thing is pinned ultimately proves that this is overlaid. This isn't a mistaken, this is the shadow of one of the guys holding the camera up and we've mistaken it, because it's not attached to anything. It's just a random shadow until the camera moves too quick and you can't track it, because it is really, really hard to track that sort of movement. This is after the debunkers had issue with you. You rebut or argue your case, and you do it in a very nice, very fair way. And we take you at face value as, okay, cool, fine. We appreciate that you've been honest with us. We appreciate that you've been forward with us and you've addressed this public. And then you pull this shit. It ain't right. This is really disappointing, because you seem to have got the debunkers on board with you guys, or us that have covered you, and then you pull this shit because you think we won't look at you again. This is blatant. Okay, so I'm going to try something here. I've got some footage of when we went to the 4 Crosses Inn, and this is me, Mrs. Geek, and the staffies in the basement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a fake ghost into this. Not only am I going to insert a fake ghost into this that moves around the video, this ghost is going to be able to go behind Rianne from Staffordshire, peek out the other side of it, and then peek back. So all I've done is I have got a green screen ghost that you can see there. So in order to remove the green background, I need to come over here, open effects, 3D keyer, drag and drop. Let me shrink this down for now. 3D keyer. So I need to click this here, open effects, overlay, and I want to take out the green. There we go. There's a horrible green around the skeleton slash ghost. I'll take the D-spill up. Key adjustments. We'll up the chroma tolerance. So while you're looking at this, there's a black background. But when I pull it over these videos, this is going to be transparent. But there will be an issue, because if I play it from the start, there's text on the screen. There's a bar at the bottom, a play bar. So we find the point where all of that stuff disappears, and the ghost starts coming to frame. So I just literally chop this bit off. Now I am just doing this fast. There's our spooky spectre. And the reason I've chosen this one, I know that this looks ridiculous right now, because it's a skeleton floating about in the air. The reason I've chose this is it goes left to right, etc. So I can get this to peekaboo behind the staffies. And then it disappears. So that's all we need of that. Now I've already removed the background. Now, link clips. I'll unlink the clips. I don't need any of the volume. We'll go back to this footage. Now, I don't need 2 audio tracks, so I'll unlink those clips. Take that volume out. So all I've done is taken a clip of the staffies in the basement, and then I've copied and pasted the exact same clip, the exact same timings, and put it above it on the timeline. Why have I done that? Well, I'm going to mask. I want the clean slate, and then I want to mask out Rianne, James, and the table. So I need the ghost to appear behind this table, behind Rianne, behind James, and behind this chair. So I need to mask out all of this part of the building. So I'll take this top video, this top plate. We'll highlight it. I'll take it into the color tab. There are other ways to mask on DaVinci, but I'm not so good with them. Okay, so I'm going to pick out all the stuff that I don't need. We need the table left in. We need this chair top left in. We need Rianne left in. We need James left in. So I've got to mask all of this. Now, I'm doing this with an automatic mask as opposed to keyframing, just because it's easier. So I make sure I leave that chair in, and then I'll run the automatic feature, which is this button here. This will track these areas for masking. So it'll track to the back, and then it'll track all the way forward. So there you go, that took, what, 15 seconds? Toggle on the mask overlay. Oops. Oops-a-daisy. It's picked up the table. I don't want it to pick up the table. So we'll remove the mask over the table and this chair. This chair needs to stay in. We definitely need to keep Rianne in. There we go. That looks like it's tracked properly, so we'll retrack it. Back to the edit page. Let's move this track up. Bring this in. We'll put a cross dissolve on the beginning and the end so it doesn't just pop up. So I'll add an alpha output. Join this up. That makes the mask then visible. Drop the opacity. I would have thought with this being an in, I think I said it on camera. When you feel it coming down, the beetle comes around to eat a roll. Can I get a roll? Dressed up like a T-Rex with that perfect strut. All the people in the chat's just going nuts. You need a roll. Can I get a roll? If you're not feeling well, it's a nice surprise to get her off and be a doll in everybody's life. With those tiny little arms and the flowing tail. If you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself. Can I get a roll? You can get a roll. The object of the day to put a smile on your face. All the fans know how much he appreciates. You can get a roll. If you're just feeling like crap, all you have to do is ask. Beardo's got your back, and just like that, you get a roll. Can I get a roll? You can get a roll. With those tiny little arms and the flowing tail. If you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself. Can I get a roll? I would have thought with this being an in, I think I said it on camera, that maybe that would be a way to stir things up, but obviously not. But then even, I think a ghost could have... Okay, so that took a little bit longer than I thought, because of the reflection off the table, because of my light flicking about all over the place, then James's light flicking onto my camera. Now and again, the reflection of the table didn't capture the mask. And I've left it all in, I'll have sped it all up, so it's only a couple of seconds for you guys. But that took me roughly 20 minutes, because there were the odd frames where it was missing, and you could see that the table was double layered, because there was a darker video playing over the top of it. But I think we've nailed this now. Take it back to the beginning. I would have thought with this being an in, look, spooky I think ghost. I said it on camera, that maybe that would be a way to stir things up, but obviously not. But then even, I think a ghost could have run through there and we wouldn't have noticed. Too busy looking at a Snickers. Has he gone quiet? That ghost never at one point breaks the mask of Rianne, the table, the chair, or James. It's poking up either side of them, and that was 20 minutes. And that's 20 minutes of me using something that I've only ever used once before. File name, fake ghost. So I'm going to render the project, and then I'll drop it into the main video, so you'll get to see this full screen. There you go, that took, what, 20 seconds to render a 4K video. Well, technically 2 4K videos and a green screen video. That's all it took. Now, okay, I've got a powerful PC, but look how easy that was, really. And that was with me running into problems where reflections off the table and stuff were kind of ruining the video for me. So I'm going to insert this into the other video.
I would have thought, with this being an inn, I think I said it on camera, that maybe that would be a way to stir things up, but obviously not. But then even, I think a ghost could have run through there and we wouldn't have noticed. Too busy looking at a Snickers. Has he gone quiet a bit?
It does sound like it.
Yeah.
So there we go. I took a more difficult clip to mask in a ghost interacting behind two people and behind a table and behind a chair, and there's barely any tells as to what I've done in my video in, 20 minutes? Say 23 minutes, including rendering time and the mistakes I was making and trying to adjust things. But I put a ghost into a 4K video behind the table, behind the chair, behind Rianne, behind James, with different light fluctuations. The camera was shifting and moving and all the rest of it. And it looks pretty decent for 20 minutes work. And that is with it interacting behind people and behind objects. Ghost Club Paranormal didn't have to do that. They just had to get their ghost or their shadow figure on the screen, and the floorboards were cocked up. So I've took a far more difficult clip, managed to insert something and leave less telltale signs than them not having to do any of that. They just overlaid a video and they cocked up the floorboards. So whilst I haven't recreated their video, I've made a more complex version of what they've done to highlight how easy it can be to just drag and drop something into your video, and there's your ghost. Now, I could have messed about with, I could have inverted the colour of my spooky ghost that's floating about. I could have made it a black shadow figure. There's loads I could have done. I could have softened the edges on it, and I could have spent another hour on this and made it really, really believable. And I've toyed with the idea of creating a TikTok and just making fake ghost videos, and then like a year later being like, haha, it was me all along. But then I'm part of the problem if I do that. But it would have been funny. See how many top 5 channels picked it up and things like that. But yeah, Ghost Club Paranormal, you got caught faking, and for once this isn't just one debunker has looked at it. 3 or 4 of us have looked at this and gone, I think that's this or the other. You got caught. And it's really, really disappointing, because you guys tried to get us on side and you were nice to us, and alright, you had your arguments, but all of your arguments are now nil and void, because we know you overlaid that skeleton, you overlaid that shadow figure into your clip, and the mistakes are there for all to see. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Don't for any reason give them nasty, hateful comments. Yes, they are fake. Yes, they have been caught faking, but don't comment on their looks. Don't comment on the things that they say in. Basically, don't get personal with them, because that'll be used as a weapon to say, hey, you're toxic. We are not toxic. You've been caught faking 100%. I have recreated a more complex version without really knowing what I'm doing, because I've never tried to mask something in a shaking, moving camera before, and I've just done it first time without really knowing what I'm doing. You guys clearly didn't know what you were doing, because I think there was a marker left, or there was a black splodge of the original, of the overlaid video that was clearly in shot. I think what you did was just overlaid something. You didn't have a blank slate and then your original video played over the top and then insert something in between. That's where you went wrong, but even then you would have left some telltale signs. Those floorboards should not have disappeared the way they did, because your blur around your mask was too far down. And there you go. So yeah, leave thoughts in the comments down below. Nothing toxic, nothing nasty, nothing horrible, but these people tried to get us on side and they have just been caught 100% masking in a shadow figure. The bollocks of them to call out debunkers for toxicity and all this and then pull this shit is... it's mind-blowing. I don't understand why they've done that. Could they have done this on purpose so debunkers come back at them? Because a lot of people have started to realise that when you go at debunkers and debunkers go back at you, it inflates the views, because people go to check out the original video, as they should, because they, in your own mind, it's alright, the debunker have said this, could they have added it into the debunking video? Let's go check the original, and that's fine. But yeah, these guys are fake. Much love to you all. Beardo out.